That's better than last week when it sounded like I had an orgasm after opening the beer.
Oh, jeez. Or get started earlier today. Oh, boy.
All right. Welcome to the top 100 rated Canadian wrestling podcast. Welcome to Bros, Bumps, and Beers. I am your beautiful co-host, Pat Gagne. And with me, as always, is Matty Tooties Gagne. Matt, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. And, oh, there it is.
Oh,
You
that
did
was
it!
Great
Oh,
sound.
I did it. That was a good one.
Sound.
And are the third member of our beautiful team, we have the self-proclaimed toughest raider in Winnipeg, Jordan Schofield.
That was really good.
Factually the toughest raider in the city of Winnipeg. Not self-proclaimed. It's pretty much a fact.
Yeah, so here we are, guys. This is episode 5. This is a big episode. I read that in the article that episode 5 is a big, important episode.
Oh, wow.
Can I ask a question? When do you stop saying what number we're at?
You don't.
You don't. Why would I not tell the fans what they need to hear?
Every week we haven't quit. It's a success.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's like more of a subtle brag.
Next week it'll be an even bigger intro and you'll be like, why are you saying that? And I'll be like, because it's true.
Well, I mean, yeah, but it's more like counting. Like, I feel like we're insulting their intelligence. They can count.
Whoa. Why are
you assuming all our listeners are of equal intelligence?
Wow.
I'm assuming they can all count.
Oh, way to go, Matt. This is officially the last episode of Bros, Bumps, and Beers.
I know some of our friends listen to this podcast, so they can't count.
You're right.
Oh, that's cute that Matt thinks he has friends. Oh.
Yeah, mine and Matt's friends. Sorry.
Yeah. So we'll jump right into it. Hey, Matt, what beer are you drinking tonight there, fella?
I don't know if I want to tell you guys because you're already personally attacking me, and I feel like I'm going to get attacked.
I bet you picked it. I bet you picked another Nonsuch.
I did.
Smart man.
I picked it because they came out with something new this week.
Ooh.
I'm a big fan of their Raspberry Kettle Sour. Nonsuch released their Mango Kettle Sour this week. Also a big fan of the whole Kettle Sour. I feel like I'm more just into sours lately, and I'm into that. So this is a blind test. I have not tried this beer yet, which I have not done on the show yet. So this will be the first time. We're sipping it together there, folks. I know. We're all waiting in anticipation.
Wow.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So you're getting a little bit of mango. I feel like you could maybe get a little bit more of the mango, but it's got a nice tartness. It's a good fruity flavor. The mango is not pronounced, like I said, but it's got a little bit of sweetness and that nice hoppiness that a lot of good sours have. Like, that's quite good. I'm gonna take another sip.
What's the alcohol content on that one?
It's an excellent. Oh man, that is very good. 5.7. So
wow, okay, not quite as strong as last week.
No, we're not into old ale X categories here, but still very good. I'd give this. Now sours are on a different level for me. They're not my IPAs. I give my IPAs the high scores. Jordan is going to have a stroke because I gave another IPA a 5 this week.
Unfucking-leavable.
Wow.
You know, Jordan, when you're going to do your review, I'm going to take you to task right away, so don't interrupt Matt before you get yelled at, all right?
That's fine. I'll defend my accurate scores.
I would give this on my Untapped. Follow me at Gagne Matt with 2 T's.
2 T's?
I would give this a 3.75. This is a very, very good sour and a very, very good beer. Like, you get the beer. I think what would have brought it over the top a little bit if it was a little more mango-y.
A little more mango-y.
Yeah, I just made up a word.
No, I appreciate that. You like flavor in your beers. Yeah. That's important.
Yes. Yeah.
And
not like Jordan, who cuts up every beer that doesn't have flavor.
Oh, we'll get to that. Before we do that, actually, very big moment for the pod. We actually had Nonsuch Brewery reach out to us on our Twitter, which you can follow us at Bros Bumps Beers, because they wanted to add on a little bit. Because Matt last week had mentioned that Nonsuch, before it was Nonsuch, it was the Edge Skate Park, which me and Jordan frequented so much back in the day, right?
You guys were very confused. You thought I made that up.
Yeah, it sounded made up.
You still could have made it up.
They actually did a little correction for us. Before it was the Edge Skate Park, it was actually Peg Beer Company, which is, I guess, another brewery.
City, I believe.
Oh, Peg City. Sorry, Peg City. And after that, it was a automotive and manufacturing space. So that building's seen some stuff. So
hopefully all it sees is Nonsuch for the foreseeable future.
if they keep putting out stuff like that, that's pretty good. Now, myself,
very true.
I went with a Canada Brewing Company. And so I went with the Avenger, the American Pale Ale.
Ooh,
and first one I actually take a sip. This is the first time I actually taste it.
Oh boy, these
it's
live
got some
reviews are incredible.
Yeah, it's a real ballsy situation here.
I know, that's risky.
It's a 5.2% alcohol content. It's a 30 IBU. A lot of citrus hops to it. You can taste the citrus notes. It's very citrusy. It's good. It's refreshing. It's smooth. Something you could drink on a nice hot day. I've had better from Canada Brewing Company. But I don't hate it. I like it actually. I'd drink more of it. Sessionability, maybe not the highest, but it's pretty good. So on Untappd, you can follow me at Pat Gani.
Pat, I'm going to cut you off. Did you get a little bit, take another sip. I had that one this weekend. Do you get a little bit of sweetness counteracting the hops?
Yeah, there is. Yeah, you can taste that a little bit.
Yeah, I think there's like a honey or there's something sweet in there. It's nice.
It balances each other nice. Yeah, so anyways, on Untappd, again, at Pat Gani, you can follow me there. But I gave it a 3.5. It was a solid effort. I mean, we've given out a lot of 4s lately. Jordan hasn't given out a lot of 4s because Jordan's just frankly a mean person and thinks he knows everything. So before we move on to Jordan, what happened over this last weekend? Jordan actually went out and, like I did, bought the summer pack from Sucrums and absolutely cut it up. And you know what? Sucrums, honestly, probably one of my favorite breweries in the city. And Jordan said some harsh things. I don't agree with him. I think he's wrong. And I think you need to make an apology on air.
I have no intentions of apologizing to Sucrums. I apologize to absolutely nobody. If I'm going to pay $5 per beer for a pack, I expect quality. Now, that being said, Sucrums is the roller coaster company of Winnipeg. They'll release Cosmos or Understudy. Yes, Understudy. Very good beers. That's an IPA, and I was really impressed by Understudy. But then they'll go out and they'll put out the Blood Orange Ghost, which was great. Essentially
which was
just
super good.
Zero flavor. It didn't taste
good.
like, first of all, it didn't taste like blood or orange, right? Second of all, then they release, and listen, if you're going to release an El Dorado, okay, and you're going to tell me notes of guava, which is one of my favorite fruits or juices on the planet, and it tastes like Cosmos again, you are going to get buried. If I'm paying $5 a beer, at least make it taste like how you advertise it. And that's my problem.
You know what I can't wait for? For us to never, ever get a sponsorship because you absolutely cut up every brewery except for Nonsuch.
No, and
you know what I can't wait for?
What I'm about to review has not been cut up, and neither is Kilter.
Even more, but before you review that beer, you know what I'm waiting for? The only other person in Winnipeg who actually knows what guava tastes like to reach out to Jordan on Twitter.
He's going. Get on a plane, everyone.
You know what? It is the most Jordan thing ever. The most Jordan thing ever. Oh, my favorite fruit of all time is guava. Like,
no, guava's my third favorite fruit of all time.
Please tell us your first two.
What are the other two? I gotta know.
This isn't a fruit rating podcast, okay? If we get to episode 100, I will do my top 5 fruits on the planet.
Write that down.
Some of the best beer, one of my favorite style, Hefeweizen, uses my favorite fruit on the planet regularly in its brew process. So that's a little hint for everybody.
Wow.
Now I'm going to move on to my beer. And this is actually the second release from Vessel. I just was interested because they came out with the Salty Dog and they followed that up with Pineapple Peat. Again, just a cool-ass can. Like, just one of the more...
It is. It's a cool can.
It's really cool, yeah.
So I'm about to really read to you how to make Jordan like a beer. 7.2% alcohol, smoked pale ale, cocktail-inspired series, strong beer with pineapple. It is extremely easy to drink multiple of. It is slightly sweet, and it's a strong beer. That is right up my alley. I would actually repeat drinking many of these beers. So that actually got a clean 4 from me, which again, for me, puts it in the upper echelon of beers in Winnipeg. So Vessel started off good with the Salty Dog, and I think really came out with a sessionable strong beer with
You know
pineapple.
what my dream is for this podcast is to one day do a live show after a show at Doubles Fun Club. And when Jordan cracks his first beer and takes a sip and doesn't give it a great rating, and he just gets booed mercifully, just like everybody hates him, and he's the heel of the podcast. That's my dream for
Jordan's
this.
the heel. I'm the white meat babyface, and Pat's the tweener.
That's true. I think that's fair.
Okay, we're not going to get into this right now, but that is so false. I am the company's babyface, okay?
Okay, so speaking of Sucrums, let's talk about the Winnipeg beer news of the week. All right.
Let's do it.
One of our favorite beer stores in the city, shout out the Quality and Beer Vendor.
The Q.
The Q is partnering up with Sucrums on a beer. Let's see what we get, frankly. We might get a Cosmos. We might get Bud Light. God only knows which way Sucrum's going to go on this. But what I'm really looking forward to, honestly, is, Sucrums when they do a mass release. And here's where I fall on Sucrums, to be honest. The 2 beers I had were small batch releases. I don't think they do good at that. But when they put a beer out on the shelves for you to get consistently, Sucrums does a fantastic job. So I think that's what they're doing with this batch, and I think it's going to be sold exclusively. This is just a guess, not official news, at the Quality and Beer store. So really looking forward to that release coming in the near future.
Little insider information. I have a friend who is pretty connected with the Sucrums guys.
Name drop.
Scott Bodner.
Big
Let me pick that up.
That's our source. You can't just give out our sources.
I know, I just gave it my source.
We're big J journalists.
But he told me that apparently something they released earlier during the whole pandemic, Project Mayhem, which was a fantastic West Coast IPA.
That was good.
Very piney, fantastic. Apparently they're thinking about, if they haven't already decided, to make that something they're coming out with regularly, which I would be a very, very happy person.
I never tried that, but I heard really good things about that. I got to get my hands on it if it comes out again.
It was very good. The West Coast IPAs are a little, they're a little polarizing because of their pininess, but they're fantastic.
You know what, guys?
If it's in a silver can with a white label, run away screaming. If it's in a normal can, pick up as many as you can carry. That's
terrible. You're a horrible human being. Sucrums, I'm sorry. You're my favorite brewery in the city. Don't listen to Jordan. We will find a new producer, and that's just all there is to it.
No,
so we'll put a bow on that. I think that was a great beer segment. Lots of back and forth. Some really great beers coming in Winnipeg. And when we come back, we're going to talk hypotheticals with the WWE and AEW roster.
Oh, Michael, this is going to be fun to watch.
All right, and we're back. So, big news from a wrestling talent standpoint. Tessa Blanchard, who, let's get real, doesn't have the best track record lately. Kind of a terrible person if you read everything and you believe it all and everything's true. But you can't take away the fact that Tessa Blanchard is probably top 5 female talent in the world.
Probably?
And I said probably. I wanted to say higher, but I didn't.
She's definitely top 5.
Yeah, definitely top 5. She's incredible. So right now her contract was terminated from Impact Wrestling. I mean, that sucks for Impact Wrestling. Now they have 5 or 6 people on roster. So she's a free agent, and there's talks that WWE is kind of pushing for her, but doing it on the low down because she doesn't have the great reputation right now. People saying AEW is a little bit interested, but I think Tony Khan is kind of going to stay away from that with everything that's happening with them. But what that did was it made me think. I mean, because there's 2 promotions now, 2 different types of talent, really, who would be in WWE, who would be in AEW, it made me want to ask the question, if you could take one person from AEW and swap them to WWE, who would that be? And also, if you could take one person from WWE and take them to AEW, who would that be? So if I'm going to lead off, I think the easiest one for me to go from AEW to WWE is Lance the Murder Hawk Archer.
He is a Vince McMahon wet dream.
Like the guy, the look alone. If he said nothing and he was told not to speak, he's like, how tall do you think he is, Matt? Like 6'6"?
He's at least 6'6". I mean, WWE would probably be 6'10".
He's huge. And he's got this long ponytail mixed in with red hair, and he looks like an absolute badass. The moveset is really simple. It's pretty much you get what you see, and it's like big power moves, big badass.
When he slams the guy's head on the mat, that's awesome.
Yeah, and I look at him like, how did Vince not throw all of the monies at him? How could you not? I mean, the guy is like, if I'm looking at Jordan and Matt right now, and if you could see them, you would know what I'm talking about. Which guy would be WWE? Sorry, Jordan, it'd be Matt. And Jordan would be AEW, just for the look of you. Like,
Why? Can you explain that? Though?
Can I explain? Okay, Matt,
it's my mic skills. I can't be given a script. You just got to let me roll.
Yeah,
that is true.
And I also have to be on a show that's at least AT Day.
Yeah, and Matt, you got that. You're a good-looking son of a bitch, Matt. I will tell you.
Stop it.
You're a good-looking guy. Jordan, you're kind of ugly as shit. So, like, you would get a buy on.
I would say he's ugly.
He's
doesn't
not
have my
good-looking.
rugged handsomeness.
I make up with it with smarts and strength. That's very true.
Jordan's a little more athletic than you, Matt. Sorry.
Whoa.
That's very true.
But
you
Matt,
know what I do for a living?
No, you don't really do anything for a living.
Throw red balls at kids.
Yeah.
And I do it damn well.
So like that's where I see it. But when I see Lance Archer, I see Matt. I see a guy that needs to be in WWE, needs to have Vince controlling that. And you put him with Paul Heyman, I'm in on that all day.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Lance Archer goes to WWE. What happens differently than him that we haven't seen with every other big guy that WWE gets?
I think he's got such a
thing every time.
I think he's just got that look and that it factor that Vince would just be like, he reminds me a little bit of Roman Reigns, and I think he would push Lance Archer like to no end, and you wouldn't be able to get away from him. That's what I think the difference would be.
I don't disagree with what you're saying. Like, I remember seeing, and you guys are going to say something about this, but so be it. Lance Archer went up against Will Ospreay in one of my favorite matches I watched last year in New Japan.
Oh my God.
And Lance Archer, that was the first time I watched really closely, and that guy can move.
Oh,
yes.
Can
that is the difference
move.
between him
And
and a
he
lot
was
of big guys.
such a great partner for Will Ospreay in that match. And I just remember being thoroughly entertained. So I'm glad AEW's continued to let him shine. I just think in the WWE you'd see him peter out after a while. You know, they wouldn't let him do his thing. I think the Jake Roberts edition, or not Jake. Oh no, I did get that.
Jake Roberts.
I always mix him up with like every time I say Jake Roberts, I think of Jake Plummer, and I know that makes no sense, like the football player,
like the washed-up quarterback.
Yeah, I don't get it, but every time I say it, I'm like, no, that's not it. But yeah, I see why Vince would like Lance Archer. I'm so fearful they'd ruin him.
That's what I think. I'm right. You're for sure wrong. So if we go from
so offensive,
who would I send from WWE to AEW?
And I feel like that's the harder one.
Yeah, and you know what it is.
That is the harder one. Yeah.
The way I looked at it is, okay, so you have the Revival or FTR, whatever they're called, very wrestling centered talents. So that's what I looked for. I went with Cesaro. I think you take Cesaro, who is top 5 worker in WWE, like just crisp, never botches, he's
so strong.
So strong.
He really works out with John Cena.
Yeah, Matt, you tell me that every time he comes on the screen. Hey, Pat, did you know that Cesaro works with John Cena and he outlifts him? Can you believe that? Like that, you sound dumb every time you say it. I don't know why you say it.
Because it's true and it's amazing.
Matt, you have this love-a-thon with John Cena that is borderline on.
You guys are not gonna like the main event tonight.
Cesaro's putting like the founder of that skin tape shit through college. Like,
yeah,
that guy's kids are gonna be loaded.
His gimmick. At one point, he's going to be covered in KT tape head to toe.
It's going to be like the Mummy Returns, but with KT.
I think what it is with Cesaro, you could put him in AEW and he could have a great match with anybody. And he's creative with his matches. You'd never see the same thing twice. He's not like the Young Bucks who young suck. They're so terrible. Oh my God, they're so brutal. Jordan, we're not doing this right now. I'm not going to do this. You already tore apart Sucrums. I can't even really look at you. Let's just get through this episode, okay? So, and finally, you know who I see him in the inner circle in the Jake Hager spot, because I hate Jake Hager. I think Jake Hager is
I really like him in his spot.
I can't stand him. I hated him from the second he came onto AEW. He's fake tough. Like, he beat up a bunch of bums in, Bellator, and now he's like this MMA god. No, he sucks. So that's Cesaro. You put him there, and he thrives. So, okay, so Jordan, who'd you pick, and why are you wrong?
Okay, so the AEW to WWE one was easy. Britt Baker is the one who I would love
Yes.
to see you go from
Yeah.
AEW to WWE. I didn't even have to think twice about this. I think the women's division in NXT specifically for me, but we'll say WWE in general, is the clear strength of the company compared to AEW. So I want to take the best person from AEW, in my opinion, and move them right over to WWE. I think she's great on the mic. And naturally, there's some nice angles to be had with Adam Cole because I think you put her in as a female part of the Undisputed Era.
Oh,
watch
Jordan,
me-
stop.
Jordan,
Watch
Jordan,
me
Jordan,
stop
be
right now.
still.
I
Be
don't
still
know if I
my
can
beating
handle this. It's
hearts.
so good.
Oh, that
I
was
mean, let me
amazing.
let me book you with this. You bring her over, you get her going in Undisputed Era, and one by one, you put over each of the Undisputed Era guys as they leave, and you build a whole stable of nice new talent in NXT with a bunch of guys. Maybe not. I think Fish is the main guy I'd like to pull out of there and see go on his own. But I think you
Got that
can
look.
have a great long-term angle with Britt Baker moving over. So harder than that. Okay, go ahead. Sorry, Pat.
But like, it's just, I agree with you. I think she needs to go over because the women's division AEW is so bad. It was just a mess from the onset when they gave it to that 14-year-old Asian girl, whatever, Riho. Yeah, and then they rebounded and gave it to Nyla Rose, which is the right move. And now they give it to Shida. Shida, I think is her name. She's good. Don't get me wrong, but it's just they got so much bad talent. Like Penelope Ford, she's going to be wrestling for the title at Fyter Fest. She's brutal.
I just want to
Is
get
she
Britt
Nia
out of there
Jax bad,
before
Pat?
that evil monster kills her. It's really only a matter of time till whatever that thing is.
How terrifying.
Tag me in a tweet.
No,
of
we're
that
not
this
talking.
week
Why
and
are we
I'd hurt
talking
myself.
about this?
Yeah, sorry.
Now so this next one was harder for me. People who I'd like to see move from WWE to AEW could have been a list 20 long. Just get them out of there and save them from Raw or SmackDown. However, I tried to think of two people who I thought both wrestling style and mic work might benefit. In the end, I went with Dolph Ziggler. I would love to
Had
see
him on my
Dolph
list.
Ziggler in AEW. I think if you let him go on the mic and don't restrict him, he's someone who could be a top guy. I still, to this day, laugh hysterically when he would get beat up by Goldberg, get up, talk shit, and then get beat up again, and then start. On top of that, I think he's just an amazing in-ring worker. My runner-up, and it was close, was Ricochet. Talk about a guy who's just been left behind by
he fell
bits
out
in his small brain.
He fell out of favor and he's gone. Like he's never getting up there
I think
again.
you just walk Ricochet in to AEW and just let the gifts fly. So number one is Ziggler, but I wanted to give Ricochet an honorable shout out. So
I think Ziggler just deserves to go because like he's done so much for WWE and he's gotten nothing really in return. He needs to go and
Loads of
be
cash.
yeah.
You guys making bank. Like, let's get real here.
I think that's another reason why he should leave, though, right? Like, you got your money, bro. Like, go to the AEW and just be a stud. Like, he's going to be a stud. He could be the next champion there in no time. But those were my two. So, if no disagreements, Matt, wrap us up, buddy. What do you got about this?
I did have Dolph Ziggler and Ricochet on my list. I'm going to start with my WWE to AEW. I found that tough. I went through a lot of guys, and I was like, no, this guy's got to stay there.
Tough because there's so many options, like you would, or tough because you couldn't pick.
No, because I was like, what would they? One of my big things was, what would they do with them differently, and would it be better? Would it make them bigger? And I settled on a guy that I'm like, I don't know. I settled on Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is probably next to Daniel Bryan, but Daniel Bryan's not going to move over. Next to Daniel Bryan, he is, in my opinion, the guy that works the most like an indie guy. And if you took off restrictions on the mic on him, he's a great worker. He can get stuff over. If you threw him into AEW, I just feel like nobody could hold him back. He has he has all the tools you need to be a professional wrestler, other than maybe the look, and I think that's what holds him back in WWE. I think AEW, he would walk in there and they'd be like, you're different than everybody. Let's go. Like, run with it.
And you know what he would do if he went to AEW? I think he would go back to being the Kevin Owens from Ring of Honor, which was some of the greatest interview work you'll see. If you want to look up anything this week, go look up Kevin Owens Ring of Honor interviews where he's doing it like the locker room bathroom all the time, which I don't get why. It's super weird. But he's always, it's so good, and they would allow him to do that kind of thing in AEW.
Something I love about Kevin is his non-verbal promo work.
Oh yeah.
Right? So when he, or not even promo, but just what he does without talking, like when he would come out when he was the heel US champion and never walk on his face.
Oh,
it's
I love
little
it.
shit like that.
Yep.
Right? And I think that's just
Little
another
stuff like
guy
that,
who
and I
makes
don't
me a
want to.
favorite.
I don't want to insult WWE fans because I feel like I'm a WWE guy. I am, but it's little things like that that I think you
It's
have
lost on
a large percentage of WWE fans who don't even. They're like, oh, he didn't walk across his face. But if you like kind of understand, he's Canadian, he's a hockey fan. They don't walk across the logo. In sports dressing rooms, you don't walk across the logo. It's like sacrilege.
Unless you're Justin Bieber, loser.
Why are we bringing him up on a wrestling podcast?
But Matt, like what you're saying is like, if you know that, Kevin's instantly over in your eyes because he's calling himself untouchable. He's calling himself, his face it's sacrilegious to even disrespect his face.
Exactly.
Right?
And I'm not
It's
saying
incredible.
all AEW fans would understand that, but I just feel like the stuff he did with Jericho was amazing.
Oh yeah.
And
go over there, do some more with Jericho.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm shocked Vince didn't like their match at WrestleMania. Who could have seen that coming?
And then my AEW guy that I'd like to see go over, and it's kind of the opposite reason of Kevin Owens. So this guy he's okay on the mic, but I feel like he would benefit from scripting, and he's cool and has a look, is Scorpio Sky. Scorpio Sky.
I knew you were going to say that. You love fucking Scorpio Sky.
I love Scorpio Sky. The guy's athletic. He's got a great look. I feel like he would benefit from scripted promos because I do find sometimes he stands there with the mic and you're like, ugh, don't really know what you're saying.
He's trying to keep up with Kazarian, right? Like that's
Kazarian and Daniels. Like,
he was put in that group to hide him a little bit.
Do you think so? Because I think they're the dumbest group in AEW.
Oh no, don't get me wrong. They suck.
Like
I'm not a fan.
Those guys are Southern California. What is it? SoCal
Uncensored.
It's a white dude from Canada. I don't even know where Kazarian's from, and Scorpio Sky. They're not SoCal Uncensored at all.
No. But I do feel like with a bit of a repackage, Scorpio Sky could be, I'm not saying he could be the guy in WWE, but he's definitely a guy that I feel like they could utilize a lot better.
I think he just comes in and he gets that initial push, and then Vince is like, "Oh, he has nothing that I want," and then he just dies. And I think that's the problem with this whole discussion is sending guys from AEW to WWE because Vince is like, "I don't know what you are, so here's a stupid gimmick," and it didn't work. That's your fault. Like
he's gonna puke.
But I think Scorpio Sky with the right stupid gimmick could flourish.
Yeah,
I just have this. I have this thing with Scorpio Sky.
I know. Every time he comes on, you text me like, "Hey, did you see that Scorpio Sky match?" No, Matt, because I don't really care about Scorpio Sky.
His title match with Jericho was really good.
Yeah, because of Jericho.
I don't care.
Christopher Daniels makes me cringe. I'm glad you brought up SCU. Like he walks out with his stupid long ass broken mic and his stupid jacket, and
this is the worst town I've ever been to.
And the sad thing is, Christopher Daniels was a bright spot.
Oh, he was
in TNA Impact Wrestling.
Yeah,
when there wasn't a lot of bright spots, but him and Styles and Samoa Joe, man, they would rip the house down steady.
Can I ask a question? Did we all just assume Jeff Hardy's moving? Because he was on my list too, and I just like in the back of my mind was like,
no, Jeff Hardy's got a lot of time left on that deal, man.
Does he really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd love to see a Brother Nero thing go again, but I guess I'm gonna have to wait.
I think. Okay, this might be me just reading into WWE
woke.
stuff.
I think I know where you're going with this.
I've got a hot take, boys. Hot take. So his whole Undertaker tribute.
Oh,
I could see him going towards maybe a darker character.
You know where I thought you were going? I thought you were going to say all his current problems for him trying to get out of his contract. I thought you were going really like off the board conspiracy theory with it.
No. He's had those problems for a long time.
I know.
All right, so put a little bow on that. And when we get back, Matt, we're very excited. One of the best cards we're going to look at in a long time. We're going to do a retro review of Money in the Bank 2011.
Very excited for this, guys.
Perfect. Retro from less than 10 years ago.
This is dangerous, JR. This is real dangerous.
Alrighty, and we are back for the main event of the podcast. We are going to do our retro pay-per-view review of one of our favorite cards in the last 10 years, let's say.
The fact we're doing a retro review of something in 2011 warms the shit out of my heart.
Well, so anyways, we're doing Money in the Bank 2011. Possibly one of the best cards in the last 10 years. Let's just say that. That's for real. That's real.
Yeah. Oh, it's for sure
Yeah.
in the top 5 of the last 10 years.
So, and you get that feeling right away from the opening package. Before I do that, Matt, why don't you dial it up for us?
Money in the Bank 2011, July 17th, 2011. So we're
my
coming
birthday.
up. Oh,
Fun fact.
Yeah,
I didn't
I
know
knew
that.
that.
Sorry, I didn't mean to say that. I just didn't know that.
that's why we did it, Jordan.
Oh,
Jordan was 22 at the time.
Was I? I was
No.
20.
Oh, damn.
You were 20?
I was 20. I was
Oh,
91.
boy. Anyways, it was from the Rosemont. It was from Rosemont, Illinois. I was going to say it's from the Rosemont
You know what,
Horizon.
Matt? You know what you're really not good at? Pronouncing
Reading?
places in the United States.
Yeah.
Say Massachusetts
Yeah.
again. Say Massachusetts again.
No, I can't. Massachusetts?
Matt, say Wichita. Say Wichita.
Anyways, it's from the Allstate Arena.
Is Matt the guy from what's Hot Rod? What do you mean? What do you mean? What? Why do you say what weird? It's whiskey. I want some whiskey.
Anyways, it's from the Allstate Arena in Rosemont, Illinois. And there was 14,815 people there. It was a complete sellout because CM Punk was the main event, and Illinois loved CM Punk.
Yeah, so like I said, from the get-go, the opening package, so the whole backstory here is that CM Punk has worked his way into the main event for a title shot against John Cena. Problem is, ladies and gentlemen, at the end of this card, at midnight, the clock will strike midnight, CM Punk will not have a WWE contract. And that is real, as they call in the biz, that is a shoot. He, at this point, before the event started, did not have a contract renegotiated.
He signed it at the arena. Hours, like, I say hours. I think it was like maybe 2 hours before.
Middle of the show, apparently.
Oh, it was.
Yeah,
Okay,
so that's legit. That is real. That has been
and they
confirmed by CM Punk.
had 3 finishes, 2 or 3 finishes.
Yeah, just in case.
Mapped out just in case. There was one if he
So-
signed, one if he signed long term, and one if he didn't sign at all.
So the whole deal is Vince doesn't want him to win and leave with the title. Punk wants to win so he can leave with the title. And John Cena wants to be that white meat babyface that does the right thing and gives CM Punk a great match. And if he wins, he beat the better man. Stupid.
No, you're gonna get me going.
But the
off
best
the
part
beginning.
is of this event, there are two Money in the Bank briefcase matches.
I
Now-
just want to say though, before we get into anything else, that that opening, it gets you going. You're like, this
yeah.
is probably going to be a good card. The breaking of kayfabe, even if you don't know that it's a shoot or whatever, that whole contract negotiation and him doing the pipe bomb and everything, that's got to be the last 15 years.
Well, that is one thing. If you're going to watch, I said this already today, but if you're going to watch another thing on YouTube and you haven't seen it, look up CM Punk's the pipe bomb promo that he did leading into this event. One of the best pieces of mic work you're going to see in a really long time, and it still holds up today. It's so good.
There's not a lot of guys that Vince is going to be like, yeah, go out there,
Was
say
it
what you got
good
to say.
mic work because it was honest, or it was like genuinely a good promo?
I think it was both. I think all
both.
good promo work is if you feel it and it's true in your mind.
Right, and I think that's fair. Like, isn't that the perfect example of why the WWE should let guys continue to do their own stuff?
Because everything's scripted and it just doesn't feel natural and real.
Because the Miz's work shoot on Daniel Bryan, for example,
During Talking
like-
Smack.
during Talking Smack, that's up there with the pipe bomb in the last 10 years. That was
that
awful.
spawned
That
years of
shot the
content
Miz
for the
into the next.
WWE, right?
Yeah.
Like that
Yeah.
spawned years and multiple eyes. And I don't understand why the WWE hates views. Like, you have the pipe bomb and it's perfect for views, right? They still get a bunch of views off that every year. But why is it that they don't let that happen on a more regular basis?
Because it's not controlled. They need control.
They're a major company that's traded publicly. You need some form of control.
So, I mean, so the first match, they come out the gate super hot. They have the SmackDown Money in the Bank ladder match. For those of you who don't know what a Money in the Bank ladder match is, above the ring is a briefcase. Inside the briefcase is a contract that they can cash in on that show's champion at any time, no matter what. And at this point, nobody had missed a cash in. So it was pretty much like, you get that briefcase,
How many
you're
people
going to
have
win the
missed a
title.
cash in to this point? 3?
John Cena, Baron Corbin, and there was one more. Jordan,
Is
did
there
you
a
look it up
female
for us?
miss? Yeah.
Look that up.
Kennedy?
Yeah, well, no, he never cashed in because he was hurt and he missed his ear. That's that's the last one, Mr. Kennedy.
You know, for all the shit we talk about the WWE, talk about a great idea. Like,
Oh, it's so good.
That's
This
been
is
a
easily
really
the
good
best
one.
stipulation in WWE.
And what was the best thing ever is when you go to a live show and the guys who go drop $400 on merch, they buy the briefcases and they walk out of that arena and they're so pumped that they have those briefcases.
And the second best thing at a live show is Pat being super jealous that they walk out with a Money in the Bank briefcase.
I just can't spend $150 on a briefcase. I just can't do it.
What does Pat say every time he sees someone with a briefcase?
He's gonna cash in. He's gonna cash
He's
in.
gonna cash in on me. He's gonna cash in on me.
So, anyways, this match has a lot of young guys. It had Sin Cara, it had Wade Barrett, it had Justin Gabriel, Sheamus, Cody Rhodes, Heath Slater, Daniel Bryan, and Kane. And believe it or not, 2 of 8 are still active on the WWE roster, which is insane to me. So this match, me and Matt went back and forth on this. Matt, explain to everybody listening what you think a Money in the Bank match should look like.
Thank you for asking, first of all.
You're welcome. Now be wrong. Here we go.
I just want to say before that, we get our first CM Punk chant right before this match.
Oh, yeah. Mm.
There's a lot of CM Punk chants in this card. A Money in the Bank match, though, should be spots that should flow into each other. They shouldn't be set up. I find a lot of Money in the Bank matches now, you can clearly tell, okay, they're setting up for this spot. They don't flow. And that might be camera work, that might be production, but I found this one really flowed. You need a little bit of wrestling. You need them to actually tell stories and advance stories within the match, much like a Royal Rumble. And to do that, you need some form of wrestling, not just punches and kicks. And then finally, I really think you need to be getting over guys, which this match did. It got over. Sin Cara does some stuff in this match that you're like, it's 2011, and he's doing a Spanish fly. Not a lot of guys are doing Spanish flies in 2011. So that's my opinion. Pat, you're going to say I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
But I am right.
So for me, a Money in the Bank match, a good Money in the Bank ladder match is full of spots. I usually hate big spots with matches with so many spots. This needs to have big spots. It needs to make me
absolutely does.
Drop my jaw needs to hit the floor and be like, oh my God, did you see that? And I'm going to be a horrible person. I need to see people almost get hurt on a regular basis.
I quickly interject, Pat.
Sure.
It took me a bloody minute, but I found the list of missed cash-ins.
Okay, go ahead.
You had 2 of them right.
Okay.
You had John Cena and you had Baron Corbin. There's actually 2 more technically.
Okay.
Can you, with a little bit of thinking, name the other 2?
One is Mr. Kennedy.
So according to this list, I don't see Mr. Kennedy. I guess because it wasn't an official match. One of them on there is Damian Sandow.
Oh,
yes, yeah, he did. He did not cash in. Yeah,
because
right.
he was defeated by John Cena after an attitude adjustment. And then there's another one where Braun Strowman in 2018 wasn't able to cash in.
Oh, I don't remember that.
According to this site, this was a Hell in a Cell match with Mick Foley as the special guest referee, announced ahead of time. The match ended in a no contest after Brock Lesnar and Heyman ran it. So Lesnar kicked in the cell door, laid out both Strowman. This was at the Hell in the Cell pay-per-view.
Oh,
I think Strowman won in 2018, didn't he? And then he wasn't able to cash in.
I don't remember.
Yeah, he did win. He was the monster in the bank.
Oh,
right. So yeah, that was the 4 matches, but I honestly couldn't get a clean, like a really easy list, funny enough, from Google. But that's what I see right now.
So, anyways, like I was saying, it needs to have big spots. There needs to be a danger aspect to it. People need to almost get hurt. You need good talent. You need big guys that can catch them to get those big falls. And for me, you gotta have more than 2 guys in a match where I'm like, these guys could win. And this first match, the reason I didn't like it as much as the second match we're going to talk about,
you're not
there wasn't enough guys that I thought were going to win. You love Sin Cara on this. Sin Cara was the
win. That's not no, he wasn't going to win.
Sin Cara was sucked. He was so brutal. He was the only guy in the last 10 years to this point where they had to reshoot his taped matches on SmackDown because he kept making mistakes. Wade Barrett, maybe. Justin Gabriel was not winning a championship.
Maybe Wade Barrett?
I'm speaking right now. Justin Gabriel was not going to win a title.
No, Justin Gabriel had no personality.
Sheamus, yes. Cody Rhodes, at this point, maybe. Heath Slater should never be in a Money in the Bank ladder match. Daniel Bryan,
at this point, man.
Yeah, whatever. Daniel Bryan, sure. Kane, I have no desire. Kane doesn't need to win a Money in the Bank ladder match.
Kane was there to catch people.
Yeah, and that's why he's there. So I didn't buy any of this. I
I'm
thought
appalled at you saying Wade Barrett.
I was never a Wade. I was never a Wade Barrett believer. I was never a Wade Barrett believer. And you know what, Matt? You're an idiot.
Why?
No, you're an idiot.
My honest to God question, I wrote it down. My honest to God question in this match is why wasn't Wade Barrett a bigger deal?
Because he's not that good. He's not. He's a guy who passes the eye test, but after that, nothing. He's got nothing.
I disagree.
I disagree too.
I disagree. And Sheamus, I have way more appreciation for Sheamus. I did not like Sheamus when he first started. I watched this and I was like, Sheamus is a badass. Sheamus is good.
I agree with you on that. Yeah, I'll agree with you.
I think Sheamus, Wade Barrett, and Daniel Bryan all had the potential to win this match, and they could have pulled the Cody Rhodes. In 2011, when you're watching this, you could have been like, ooh, they might give it to Cody Rhodes so he can get a push.
Yeah.
So, really, you got 4 guys in this match that could have won. You telling me there wasn't enough guys that could have won is offensive.
Offensive? You're offensive.
You're offensive.
Good comeback.
But there was, you know what? In this match, my favorite spot of the whole match was when Justin Gabriel does the 550 splash onto Kane with almost no room in the ring to do it.
There was no room.
He was
Not
athletic.
Almost no room. There was no room.
He had no personality. He was never going to win a title. Never should have won a title. I think he won tag titles, but he just wasn't for me. And another issue with me for this match, even though it was pretty solid, there was some good spots. Guys were getting hurt. Sin Cara actually got hurt, sort of, kind of, in this match.
His sell was fantastic.
Yeah.
I thought he was hurt. I looked it up, and he wasn't.
Yeah, but you looked it up too, eh? I looked it up too, right after.
For sure. I had to. I was like, oh my God, he just blew his knee out.
Yeah, and then Booker T on commentary needs to never happen again.
And he wasn't the most annoying person on commentary.
Michael Cole was the worst.
Michael Cole, just do your job. Call the match. Don't be a heel. You're a terrible heel.
They were doing that weird thing where he was a heel, and he's just so annoying when he does it. Just call it. Be a broadcaster, and that's all you should do.
He hated it.
So, I mean, there's not Money in the Bank matches are weird to talk about because you talk about the big spot and a couple other little storylines, but you don't really. The match isn't going to be blowing away spectacular. Meltzer gave this 4 out of 5 stars. A little generous. I gave it 3 out of 5.
I gave it 4. This is, to my recollection, one of the better Money in the Bank matches I've seen.
Now, to my recollection,
a couple WrestleMania ones.
To my recollection, you are totally dumb.
There's a couple at WrestleMania. Thank you for being a child. First of all,
you're a child. You're a child.
That were definitely on par, if not a little bit better. But this, as far as multi-man non-tag team, because obviously we're not going to talk about tables, ladders, and chairs here.
Oh my!
Whoa. But as far as multi-man ladder matches go, this is how you do a multi-man ladder match, in my opinion.
No, it's not. We'll see it later. That's actually how you do it later.
And I totally disagree with you. This one was way better than the other one. Better than the other one.
So let's just get it straight. After this match, they followed up with the classic. And by the way, Daniel Bryan wins that match, so I'm okay with it in that sense. The next match.
Total sense.
The next match, the Divas champion, Kelly, one of the greatest of all time in the ring, a great worker all in general, was up against Brie Bella. You know what really is upsetting about this match? The women's revolution, when women started getting pushed on the card and what we see today is what we have, was in 2015 it started. 2011 is 4 years before that. This was an awful match. Kelly would never be a champion in WWE in the women's division today.
One of my favorite elements of modern wrestling is the women's division in WWE.
It's the best it's ever been.
I genuinely look forward to, like, if Rhea Ripley is wrestling, I am over the moon psyched. That's how
you guys
much
don't
I
agree
enjoy
with me,
her
but
character.
like I will watch Charlotte Flair matches all day.
Oh, she's great.
I think Charlotte Flair is fantastic. I disagree with all the complaints about her being pushed.
Yeah.
She's the best wrestler, arguably, in the WWE.
Yeah.
She's
now,
probably top 3 in the world as far
Yeah.
as
so Kelly wins this match. We're not going to talk about it too long. It's pretty unwatchable. I gave it a 0 out of 5. Meltzer gave it a dud. Matt, you gave it a 0 out.
I gave it a 0.5, and I'm going to tell you why I gave it 0.5.
This will be the last episode of Bros, Bumps, and Beers. I can't do this anymore.
Oh boy.
There's two things about this match. One of them gives it a 0.5. The other one is just funny. So the 0.5 is I didn't give the 0.5 to the match. I gave the 0.5 to WWE because this is how you book a card. You take people to heights, and then you go, okay, now go buy soda, go buy merch, and go to the bathroom, and then we're gonna bring you back up. It is booking 101. It is ebbs and flows.
Yeah,
I'm applauding WWE.
Do you think the WWE has a match where they just call it in the ring, and when they see people getting back to the seats, they get the order to wrap it up?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because this was 4 minutes and 54 seconds, by far the shortest match on the card.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
The other thing that's hilarious about this match is there's a finish, and they're talking about CM Punk.
Yeah.
For a minute and a half.
I mean,
while
this
the
whole
finish goes on.
This whole card was just a vehicle to get us to the CM Punk John Cena match.
I disagree. The Money in the Bank matches had their spot.
Yeah, like Matt, this is gonna be embarrassing for you. You're gonna be wrong a lot during this show. So just
and you guys are skipping the match before the CM Punk match was a significant match.
We're getting there.
Sorry.
That is a good match. Thank you, Jordan.
But the next match.
I actually watched this pay-per-view.
Good for you. Can you stop interrupting me? God, like just handle the switchboard.
Jesus Christ.
Don't listen to him, Jordan. I appreciate everything you're doing.
Oh my God. Anyway, so the next match is the Big Show against Mark Henry. Two big boys in there. Mark Henry wins this one, but I texted Matt and stay with me on this comparison. Big man matches, like physically large men matches, is the equivalent to Jordan rating IPAs.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Good.
So I gave this match 2 out of 5 stars, but it is an amazing big man match. Okay.
Oh, amazing is probably not the adjective I would use.
No, for big men. Stay with me. So Jordan says an IPA can never get over a 3.25?
3.75.
3.75. That's a great IPA for you.
Yeah.
For me,
rated awesome.
2 huge men like the Big Show and Mark Henry, the highest it can get is a 2 out of 5 because it's going to be slow. It's going to be a lot of rest holds, going to be a lot of power moves. So this is, if you want to watch, if you're a big guy and you want to learn how to do a big man match, you watch Mark Henry and Big Show go at it here because it is, in my opinion, the perfect big man match. I gave it 2 out of 5. Matt, tell me why I'm right.
First?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so you said this is like me rating IPAs. Pat, you said this is a great big man match, right?
Yes.
Then I would have given it like a 3.25. So it can't, that's like just factually incorrect because how can it be great? It's the same scale out of 5. You didn't even extrapolate it up to like a 10. You just said it's like Jordan rating IPAs and it's great. Jordan says great IPAs are 3.75s. I gave this a 2. That doesn't make any logical sense.
Jordan wouldn't give a great IPA a 2.
No, I would give it a 3.75. Like juicy.
I'm saying 2. Never mind. Okay, I'm done with this. Matt, tell us why you like this match.
I didn't particularly care for this match.
Oh my God.
I thought it was okay. I gave it a 1.5.
And then goes.
I gave it a 1.5. The build was well done. They targeted the knee, which was good because it like slows down the big man, but it like slowed it down to a point where it was almost uninteresting. The crowd was kind of dead. The whole point of the match is to get over Mark Henry, and I think they did that. They got over his ferocity, him being a heel, all that kind of stuff. Was this just after his retirement? His
No.
like air
No,
quotes retirement?
he hadn't faked his retirement yet.
Oh, okay, this wasn't the Hall of Pain stuff.
No, he hadn't got to there yet.
I don't like rest moves. Why do we have to have so many rest moves in a match?
Because they're big guys.
Lactic acid.
I don't care. I don't
That's why.
care.
Okay, whatever. Let's just
I
move
give
on.
it a 1.5. Move
Yeah,
on. It was
Meltzer gave
okay.
Meltzer gave it 1.25. I had the correct score at 2 out of 5.
I think
Yeah.
if anyone would appreciate rest moves, it's Matt.
Yeah, right? That's
Right?
what I don't get.
I am not a rest move guy.
No, I just
I
mean
would
from
be-
your size, you know? Being
Oh, no,
6'7".
I would be. I would work a steady pace. I wouldn't do rest
Oh,
moves.
God. All right, the next match is the better of the 2 Money in the Bank ladder matches, the
Oh,
Raw
you're so
ladder
wrong.
match.
Oh, there was
we
a
have-
CM Punk chant. That's number 2.
We have Kofi Kingston,
Don't ignore me. That's a big thing.
Alberto
Jamaican
Del
Kofi
Rios.
Kingston?
No,
Jamaican
Jamaican.
Kofi Kingston. Yeah, he was Jamaican.
is he Jamaican still?
Was he
Okay.
still Jamaican?
Yeah, he came out to the Jamaican music.
Oh, okay, sorry. Alberto Del Rio is in this match. Jack Swagger, Evan Bourne, R-Truth, Alex Riley, Miz, and Rey Mysterio. This match is already superior because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people out of 8 could win this match and be
Okay,
champion.
tell me which 6
Who are
people
your
can
6
win this
people?
match.
Yeah, I'm very interested in this.
Kofi Kingston,
No,
No.
not winning it in
Not at
2011.
that
No way.
point.
Alberto Del Rio,
Fine.
Yes.
Jack Swagger,
Yes.
Maybe. Yeah. Okay.
For the size, yeah.
R-Truth.
No.
Yeah, he was.
fucking
He,
chance.
no, he was because he was at the peak here. This is when
He was scared of heights.
He's at the peak now.
Okay. Anyways, guys, you're wrong again. The Miz
Yeah.
Yeah.
and Rey Mysterio.
Yes. So there's 4.
4.
In the first match, you have
6. I
Barrett,
counted 6.
Sheamus.
6.
No, I counted 4. In the first match, you had Daniel Bryan, Sheamus, Barrett, and I argue Cody Rhodes. So you had 4. So you have 4 in each match. So
No,
you're wrong.
6.
Wait, are
6.
you trying to explain equal numbers to Pat? Because we established a couple weeks ago he doesn't know how that works.
I remember when you didn't talk as much during this podcast, Jordan.
I like
then
when
we
Jordan
didn't get any
talks.
downloads.
So one thing that did bother me in this match is, so the Miz, during his time here, he's had 2 proteges, as I'll say, in storyline. He had Daniel Bryan and he had Alex Riley. Can you guess how old the Miz is currently right now?
37.
He's 39. You were close.
Yeah, that was close.
Can you guess how old Alex Riley is?
I'm going to say 42.
No, Alex Riley is also 39. And then, do you know how old Daniel Bryan is?
39?
39. The Miz, who has less experience than Daniel Bryan and probably the same amount of experience as Alex Riley, was in storyline those 2 guys mentor. That makes no sense. I hated that.
He was on TV a long time because he was on The Real World. So
Yeah, whatever.
he has a lot of TV time.
And I'll tell you right now, this match, Matt, had way more fun spots than the first one.
Okay, before we do that, let's just talk about the people in this match. A couple of the people in this match. Number 1, I never really got Alberto Del Rio. He didn't pass any tests for me. Didn't pass the eye test. I didn't really ever think he was rich. And somebody put a sign in the stands that made me laugh that said, Del Rio mows my grass. And I laughed very hard.
That's terrible. That's
I know.
so bad.
So bad, but
You know
I
who
laughed.
got Alberto Del Rio? The police.
Oh,
They did.
yeah, they did.
Yeah,
Did you see it?
times.
Did you see him in his latest MMA fight? He looks so punch drunk. It's unbelievable. Like there's
He
something
looked
up with
worse
him
than CM Punk did, which is alarming.
Oh boy. And then Alex Riley. Why didn't that guy work? I feel like he has more tools than Alberto Del Rio.
The charisma's not there.
Yeah,
Charisma and the mic skills. He passes the eye test. Looks great. Don't get me wrong.
like great look.
Yeah. So this
Talk about the
match,
spots though.
there's some fun spots. Evan Bourne gets a good spot. Kofi Kingston gets a good spot. Daniel Bryan gets a good spot. The
Daniel
Miz.
Bryan wasn't in the match.
Sorry, that's my bad. That was last match. I wrote it wrong. And then,
You're dumb.
yeah, I am dumb there.
You're dumb.
I'll eat it. So There's a bad spill by The Miz. And Matt, after you saw The Miz take that spill, did you immediately look up to see if he was actually hurt?
100%.
Yeah, I did too. I was totally a mark. I looked it
and
up.
I was like, Alberto Del Rio just hurt The Miz. He
Yeah.
just hurt The Miz. That was a scary spot. Like, that was...
And I love Kofi Kingston in this match. He was super fun to watch. He was a blast. He's one of the most underrated workers in his era. Like, he's so good.
Kofi Kingston?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
Yeah, he was really good.
He's so innovative with everything he does. It's... Like, his athleticism is crazy.
Yeah, like, I would have given this match a higher grade, but the ending was a little funky for me.
The ending sucked.
It was a botch. There was a bit of a botch. It wasn't great. Didn't suck. God. I preferred this Money in the Bank ladder match to the first one. And then Meltzer gave this 3 3/4 stars out of 5. And I gave it 3.5 stars.
I gave it 2.5 because this match suffered from 2 things. It was sloppier than the first one, and it was after the second one. I think if this one was on first, I would have given it a 3 and then given the other one a 4. I gave this one a 2.5 because I was like, I'm just not as entertained as I was after the first one.
Oh, you know what else this match is having trouble with? You being wrong. So whatever. And which leads us to our semi-main event of the evening.
Is this it? Is this it? Oh, that's our semi-main event.
His opens have gotten really good.
I've been practicing.
When he doesn't forget to do them.
How does someone's beer can opening sound dumb? I don't get it. So
same way every time you open your mouth, you sound dumb.
Whoa. So anyways, we have Christian and Randy Orton. Randy Orton is your champion, which I must say I do miss the big gold belt, the old WCW title.
Oh, yeah.
Love the big gold belt. Now, the stipulation in this match, the storyline leading up, is if Randy Orton gets disqualified, Christian wins the title. Because he's been close a few times, he keeps getting screwed, and it's Randy was playing with that, so he...
The big like story of this match is Christian's frustration from not winning, and they display this really good in the match, with Randy Orton's on the brink, about to be a psychopath and just like go off on people.
But really, like, this match spoke for itself. It was really solid. It was a really good match. Like, I loved every second of it. But
you got 2 really solid guys.
Yeah, like 2 questions came to mind though when I'm watching this. Is Christian one of the most tragically underrated talents in WWE history?
If anybody answers no,
they're wrong. They're dumb.
Wrong. They're dumb.
They're dumb.
They're super dumb.
Yeah, like, he's so crisp in the ring. I think it just got pigeonholed because he's Edge's buddy.
I remember him for his mic work. I thought he was fantastic for that.
It was all underrated. Like, he just never hit with the crowd.
And he doesn't have that look.
No. Just looks like a guy. Just looks like a guy.
Looks like another guy.
Yeah.
But could he not have been like, I don't ever see him being a top babyface, but he can't be like a constant intercontinental or World Heavyweight Championship heel. Like, you couldn't have him being the cocky heel. You couldn't have him being the Miz before the Miz. Like, I just thought he did so much more with it.
I feel like they just didn't know what to do with him. Like, he did a little bit of everything, and then he'll always be remembered as Edge's tag team partner, and they did great work with that. Yeah. But as a singles guy, Edge is just top of the mountain, and Christian just kind of settled near the middle. And my second question...
I wonder if Christian slept with Lita. Maybe that was the key.
Ooh, okay, move on.
Oh, I'm just... The rated R superstar Christian.
Yeah, it doesn't sound good.
No, it doesn't sound
good.
No.
But my next question, though, is, does Randy Orton ever age?
Not as much as others.
Randy Orton...
He looks the same.
And you want to talk about somebody that just has it. Mm-hmm. You can say what you want about Randy Orton. Randy Orton walks out and you're like, whew, that guy is a star.
Reinvent yourself once. Like, Randy Orton, yes, he does.
No.
I'm bored of Randy Orton.
And Matt, I'll say it. I'll say it. Jordan, you're dumb.
You're dumb.
He has sort of his whole new thing where he's like a psychopath who like does mean things but then apologizes for them. I'm really digging that.
He's the legend killer again now.
which was one of the best gimmicks.
Yeah.
Yeah, he should never have stopped being that.
Well, eventually
What
he
I
ran out
think
of
he
legends.
needs to reinvent a little bit. What I think he needs to reinvent a little bit is he works this very deliberate Randy Orton-esque pace
Yeah.
all the time. And the beginning of this match, really the first, I don't know, 6 minutes, 5-6 minutes, he worked that same Randy Orton
Yeah.
pace. And
It was deliberate. It was very deliberate.
and his deliberate style, I get that's his thing. But I feel like he's never going to be on some guy's level because of that. He just doesn't work that pace that you need to be able to work.
Yeah, I would say you're right. I mean, it was a really solid match. Don't get me wrong.
Whoa, hold on.
Oh,
What did you just say?
it was a really solid match.
No, before that.
Don't get me wrong.
Before that?
I can't remember what you said either.
Yeah, what is
We've
happening?
had too many beers. What's
What is
Say I
happening?
was right? Did you just say here I was right?
Okay, like everybody's right once in a while, but you're like never right because you're dumb.
A
So
broken clock's right twice a day.
Jordan gets it. So this is a really
I'm not dumb anymore.
Yeah, you're not. You're like semi-okay smart. So
Yeah.
the match ends with Randy Orton actually getting disqualified and Christian
Because
winning his first championship, and he becomes
Christian
champion.
spit a loogie in his
Yeah.
face.
Yeah,
Very COVID and friendly.
yeah.
Unfriendly.
So Meltzer gives
Was
us
this when?
Oh.
Was this when Christian lost it the next night?
no. That was a different night.
That was a different night. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry, I couldn't remember which one that was.
So Meltzer gives it 3 3/4 stars. I gave it a little low. I gave it a 3. It was solid, but they've had better matches. That's what I'm saying. They've had better matches, is what I'm getting at.
Well, I don't remember them, so I gave it a 4.
That's because you don't watch wrestling. You don't even care.
I watch a lot of wrestling. I thought the finish was really nice. I really liked the spit to the low blow. I really like the after match antics where Randy's just like loses it. And it was just, again, we just came off of the greatest match ever or whatever they called it with him and Edge. Randy Orton puts on good wrestling matches and he had a really good wrestler to wrestle with. So this was a really good wrestling match. I really liked this match. I thought it was good.
I can tell you did. And again, it's okay to be wrong. It's good. It wasn't great. So, but let's just move on,
I mean,
Matt.
a
Let's
4
not
is
fight.
good.
Matt, let's not fight. Let's not fight.
Oh, we're going to
Because
fight
now-
on this next one.
We might. Okay, so we get to the match that everybody's waiting for. CM Punk against
And
the
we get-
champion, John Cena.
And we get CM Punk chants 3 and 4 before the match starts.
This crowd is the loudest I think I've ever heard in a long time.
I've ever
So,
heard in a long time. You're done.
Wow.
If we're gonna be attacking people for sentences, this is gonna be the last episode of Bros and Beers. We're gonna be in a lot of trouble.
Can I just say before we get into the actual match, his response was loud. Could you imagine if he had Cult of Personality as his entrance theme?
That's what it was missing. That's what it was missing.
Oh,
I hated that generic friggin' thing that he always used to have. That
it
friggin'
just wasn't as good.
I don't even know what to call that song.
And then the booze John Cena got,
Oh, deafening booze.
but John Cena works it so well. He comes out, he knows what he's doing. He's a master at playing the crowd.
Yeah, I mean, and this is where John Cena thrives, is when he can work off a crowd. He's not a great wrestler. He's got his moves of doom there that everybody talks about. He's got 5 moves of doom. But if he can work off a crowd, that is why great draws work like John Cena. Like, he can put butts in the seats because he can work off a crowd.
But I think John Cena is a better worker than anybody ever gives him credit for.
Oh, I don't deny that. I think
John
he's
Cena
pretty
does his
over.
5 moves of doom because that's what everybody pays to see.
Yeah.
I think, and you saw it with AJ Styles. You saw it with CM Punk in this match. You've seen it with a bunch of other good workers. If you put him in a match with a guy who's going to push him, John Cena rises to the occasion because he is as good, if not better, than a lot of people give him credit for.
And I mean, but then if you go on the CM Punk side of things, he had a couple things going for him. He was at his absolute peak of popularity here. If he did not win this match, Chicago or Illinois, because I thought they were in Chicago, they weren't in Chicago, were gonna riot. There would be a physical riot in this
John
stadium.
Cena wouldn't have got out of that building without
He would have to run out of the building.
getting beat
Yeah.
up.
And the next thing, low-key, my favorite shirt after Austin 316 is CM Punk's Best in the World shirt. I love that shirt.
It's a great shirt.
It's fantastic. But so I'm gonna go ahead of myself here. This match is a 5-star match. It's
Yeah.
5 out of 5. And
Yeah.
here's why. This, in my opinion, Matt, you can agree with me. You should, because I'm going to be right. This is why a 5-star match is a 5-star match. So it has crowd investment, and it's continuous throughout the whole match. It is a slow build. You don't have to start off hot and you build to it.
Their slow start was so well done.
Yeah.
They let the crowd just get like marinade.
Yeah.
They let them go. They let them go a little bit.
There was a lot of changes of pace in the match. This match showed the importance of facial expressions. And and honestly, this was storytelling at its finest. The whole night you were wondering, you were thinking in your head, there's no way Vince let CM Punk walk out of that match with the world title. And how is he not going to let him do that?
Before we get to like the finish and stuff, you
Mhm.
missed one part that a 5-star match needs.
Mhm.
The work needs to be 2 things. The work in the ring needs to feel real, which is one of my biggest complaints about some of the matches in New Japan that Meltzer gives 5s to.
Mhm.
There's a lot of stuff out there where they're no selling. It
Mhm.
doesn't feel real enough. There's a
Yeah.
lot that do feel real, but there's some of the 5 stars he's given out in New Japan. I've been like, man, they didn't sell enough.
Mhm.
And like the knee John Cena takes from
Yeah.
CM Punk when he's on the they show the replay. He ate that thing.
Yeah.
He ate it. His jaw goes back. Like that was, and the work needs to be logical. Everything they did from like CM Punk trying to get out of the ring and John Cena having to like physically pull him back. It wasn't like, oh, okay, I need to come back with you now. They worked together, but it was logical in the sense that they resisted each other and things like that. I found the work was fantastic.
Yeah, and then I think the most important thing with that is the match doesn't have to be perfect. I'm not, like, if you watch this match all the way through, there are a couple of botches. Like there's
They went
a couple
33 minutes.
Yeah, that's going to happen. So at the end of the day, it's just got to. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it has to be logical. Has to be hard hitting. Okay. So you just gotta take it for what it's worth. And at the end, the ending, I'm not going to talk about the match itself. The ending is what you're here for. It is. Okay, so Vince comes out, and you think you're going to get like a Montreal Screwjob type of thing, and then John Cena stops him.
Which I loved.
It was great.
So much.
Yeah, Matt, you just love it because he's your superhero, and you loves you some John Cena. And then CM Punk wins, which blows everybody's mind. But then in the back of your mind, Alberto Del Rio just won the Money in the Bank, and he could come out and cash it. So Vince sends him out. He gets knocked out by CM Punk, and you get that amazing visual of CM Punk sitting on the guardrail and blowing a kiss to Vince McMahon.
Oh, it was so good.
Oh, that was awesome.
And he goes, "Suck it, Vince," and he goes up the crowd, lifts his hands up with his people from Illinois, and it is absolutely a perfect ending to that night. And then later on, you see him leaving the arena, like physically leaving in his ring attire, is like his tights and everything, and just jumps in a car, and he's out of here. And I don't think you see CM Punk for 2 weeks after that.
I think he's almost a month. I think it's like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
It was interesting when I was watching it because I thought, like, as it was going, I'm like, oh, this, I was engrossed in it. And then when I read about it again to refresh my memory, I was like, this is convoluted as shit. Like, when you read it, it's like 3 paragraphs long for a finish explanation. But when I was watching it, I was like, oh, yeah, like, they're kind of emulating the Montreal Screwjob. And then,
A little bit of
John
Laurinaitis
John Laurinaitis has to come out because he mentioned him in the pipe. Was the pipe on before this?
Yes.
Yeah, it was. Because he mentioned John Laurinaitis, and like it all like
fit together
so naturally.
Yeah.
I love that.
And it was just like, and for the first time as a wrestling fan in a long time, even if you had to know it was a work, him leaving with the belt, but in your head you're like, holy shit, is he gone? Like, is he actually out of here?
The realism to this was Something you don't see very often in wrestling.
When wrestling is good and a match is good and a story is good, it makes you feel like you're 9-10 years old again when you thought wrestling was real. And it makes you question your perception of what is real in wrestling.
When you can get adults to do that, that's when you know it's good.
Yeah, and CM Punk did that a lot, and that's why he's underrated, and he should be in everybody's top 10 all time. Honest to God.
I don't disagree with you on CM Punk. I'm about to talk about John Cena. But on CM Punk being top 10 of all time, I don't disagree with that. But here's maybe the hot take that you will disagree with the most that I will say for now. CM Punk is another guy in WWE if John Cena is not his opponent and not there for him.
Is Matt a Make-A-Wish kid?
Why do you love John
to
Cena?
be.
He's not.
mean-
CM Punk is so good. He can. No, I'm not doing this. This is
I
dumb.
don't know.
No.
I think
But
they
hear me
were
out.
good for each other, but I don't think he's another guy.
No,
I think like
that's
they were
ridiculous.
the perfect fit at the perfect
You're dumb.
time.
That's so dumb.
Name another guy in WWE at the time that CM Punk could have done this with, and it would have worked as well.
Triple H.
Was Triple H there?
Triple H is always there. Like, what do you mean? Is he there? He's always there. It's WWE.
Yeah. It's
They
just
tried that with
getting
Roman
shaved
and it didn't work.
Triple
You could have
H
done
with long hair.
You could have done it with Randy Orton. You could have done it with Edge if he was still there. You could have done it with everybody. It's not just John
But I
Cena.
think
Matt.
it had to be Cena. Cena was so
Okay.
over.
All right, I'm done with
Cena
this.
was so over. He was so important. He was WWE at this time. And that's why he's on my Rushmore personally.
I think the other thing with John Cena we have to remember is like the real life, the non-kayfabe was that he was the golden child. That's what made this work so well. Was that like the fans who had the back sheets or whatever the hell you call it. What's it called? Like what are they called?
Dirt sheets. The dirt
dirt
sheets.
sheets, not back sheets. Jesus, you can tell I'm a big fan. So you can tell the fans, but everyone knew that John Cena was the golden boy. That's what made this work. I think I agree with Matt that like the fact that he was seen as the golden boy and it was so obvious that he was the merch driver and people were getting tired of him. That was the perfect time to have him work with CM Punk. So I agree with Matt that like I don't know if he would be just a guy, but he was the best.
That might have been a stretch to get my point over.
He was the best opponent
but-
at this point in time that you could have given him.
You know what the best thing about this whole discussion is? When this goes live on Thursday, listen very carefully throughout the entire day when our friend James listens to Matt's take on John Cena making CM Punk, and you will hear a small pop, and it's James's head exploding. So that'll be fun for us. Anyways, Meltzer gave this a 5. Matt, please tell me you gave this a 5 because I gave it a 5.
I gave it a 5.
Thank God. All right, so we agree on that. Matt's less dumb now. We'll wrap it up with that. Next week.
No, we won't.
Oh no.
What do you
Why?
give this? What do you give this card?
I'm sorry. Wow, that was my fault. I'm
How
sorry.
could you possibly not decide to chug, sip, or cheers this
I
card?
guess it was because it was such an easy decision. This is a cheers all day. This is a great card. This is amazing.
Yeah,
Watch it.
If you watch this and don't cheers it, you're dumb.
You're dumb. Yeah.
I can't wait
Yeah.
for John Cena to retire so you can pick one of his worst pay-per-view matches like you did for Taker and review that.
I know. I'm gonna look it up.
Just pick any of the matches with The Rock at WrestleMania. Yeah, I said
What? Whoa!
Oh no. We were wrapping it up.
it. We're gonna wrap it up here.
Oh my god.
better
You
wrap
can't
it
say
up.
that.
We're-
when you
I'm
wrap
gonna
it
get
up.
real
We're
upset.
gonna wrap it up next
I'm
week.
wearing I'm wearing a Rock Under Armour shirt
Yeah, I
right
know.
now.
You look stupid and
Pat has his
dumb.
promo on his wrist.
So next week we're gonna do a retro review of King of the Ring 1999. Why? Because
Yes.
Billy Gunn wins the King of the Ring, and that's
Yes.
hilarious. So we're gonna watch that underrated pay-per-view, honestly. And
Oh boy.
so you can follow us. You can follow us on Twitter at Bros Bumps Beers. You can follow me on Untapped at Pat Gagne. You can follow Matt at Gagne Matt with 2 T's. And then you can follow Jordan at JSco55 on Untapped. This was Bros Bumps and Beers. Give us a 5-star review. Tell your friends. Give us a review. And remember to drink local. And we'll see you next week.